Welcome to the Winning Edge Investments Podcast. Winning Edge Investments provides industry-leading horse racing and sports betting tips, ratings and education, enabling you to invest intelligently and treat your betting like a business. Go to www.winningedgeinvestments.com to learn more about how you can start to supercharge your betting bank immediately. Treat your betting like a business and invest intelligently with Winning Edge Investments.
Welcome back to Giddy Up. You're with Gareth Hall, of course, on this Friday. We're live from Riverside Stables ahead of the Australian Easter Yearling Sale, which will kick off, of course, on Sunday. But Winning Edge Investments, tips and ratings for racing and sports. They're on fire at the moment. Dean Evans joins us from Winning Edge. G'day, Dino.
G'day, Gareth. How you going?
Good, thank you, mate. Exciting time. Just firstly, were you happy with Vauban there the other day?
Yeah, he ran really well. I think there were some people critical of Tim's ride, but I think it's very easy in hindsight to watch the replay a few times and realise, if he just stayed on the fence, I think he would have won the race. But he was trying to follow Dubai Honour, and that sort of made sense. He didn't want to get stuck behind Circle of Fire, so thought just a victim of how it played out. But I think he ran fantastically well. His sectionals late were really, really good. And I do think he would have won if he'd just stayed on the fence. So I've got to be happy with that. And now on to the Queen Elizabeth.
Yep, can't wait for it. It's going to be a great race at Queen Elizabeth. Now, when you think about it, Via Sistina, she's the one that they will have to beat. But would you mark her $1.70?
No, definitely not. I think she's a super race mare, and she's going nicely. But I think it's a strong field. It'll be interesting if Pride of Jenny goes, Deny Knowledge. It'll be a really, really quick tempo. Again, I think that'll suit Vauban. It'll probably suit Dubai Honour. So I just think it's going to be an amazing race, an absolute cracker race. And people think it's a sort of one or two horse race, but I do think there's probably 3 or 4 decent chances.
We're lucky to have you on this show during the spring, or the autumn and the spring, and I want to pick your brain now for these big Group 1s on the opening day of the championships. The English size, Woden's the favourite. He's been firm in betting at $2.90. Rivellino $4.20. Both were exceptional, I reckon, in the Golden Slipper. Vinrock with the different form lines is at $4.80. Belisane at $10. Prestige Forever at $11. State Visit at $12. Buffalo at $19. And there's money for Federalist, now into $34 with Bet365. Who wins the size, mate?
Yeah, the Golden Slipper is always the key form for this race. 9 winners out of the last 13 years from the Slipper. And we actually, in the last 13 years, haven't had a winner who's had a 1,400-metre run. So we've got sort of Vinrock in there, and there's often that size produce, VRC size produce sort of horse that comes across. But usually you want those horses coming off the 1,200-metre run and out of the Slipper. Only at average speed here with sort of Vinrock and Belisane pushing forward, but this is a race where horses on speed have a pretty poor record. Actually, they generally do come from the back in this race as well. Virtually every winner. So I am keen on Woden. I think he was really impressive on second in the Golden Slipper, beating the nose, and even though sort of Rivellino was behind him, he still had better closing sectionals than Rivellino. So I've got Woden quite clearly on top, and I thought the value was State Visit, who sort of flew home to win at Canterbury and then flew home again for third in the Pago last start, and looks like a Colt of Some Promises might come a little bit too soon for him, but I do think he's a horse that's got Group 1 potential in the future. But for this particular race, I think I've got Woden clearly on top.
Mm-hmm. Jolly Stars at $4.20 in front of Briasa at $4.80, and Overpass at $6. There's not much speed here. He might be able to get away with some nice sectionals. Overpass. Jimmy Star at 9, Sunshine in Paris at 9, Magic Time at 9. Unfortunately, I think it might be a little bit too dry for her. Switzerland at $15. How do you analyse the TJ, mate?
Yeah, you're right. Not a lot of speed. Overpass should lead comfortably. IME, maybe Komachi will come across, but they'll go a pretty steady tempo, I think, here. We've spoken about this before, but you combine the TJ Smith in the autumn and the Everest in the spring, the major sort of 1,200-metre races, and 17 of the 19 winners have been third up or fourth up. Only a couple have managed to win it second up, Santana Lane being one of them. So I do think Briasa second up off a Galaxy run is a risk. They're his second favourite. I do have Jolie Star on top. I thought she was really, really impressive when she destroyed them in Newmarket. She just rates clearly on top here. She looks to map pretty comfortably just in behind them. And I do think she's going to be very, very hard to beat. And I know it's getting a bit dry for Magic Time, but she beat Jolie Star first up. She was then a good third in the Canterbury Stakes last start. She just profiles really well. She's going to map in that perfect trail, I think, in the time and behind the slow speed. And I do think she's a real key danger. So I think Jolie Star's a really, really great bet. And I think Magic Time's a key danger.
Beautiful, even on a good track.
Yeah, I think the good track comes through Jolie Star for sure, but Magic Time still has a good record on firm tracks. I don't think she needs it bog heavy, even though she can handle it.
Gringotts at 650. This is a wide open Doncaster mile. Linebacker at 650. Tom Kitten at 8. Firestorms at 850. Swift Falcon at 850. Another Wheel at 10. Royal Patronage at 10. Moira. A couple of good pushes for her now. She's at $17 with Bet365. Steffi Magnetica at 19. And then you go out to Pericles at 29. I don't know if Just Focal start. He's at $29. Who wins the Doncaster Mile?
This is definitely the toughest of the Group Ones. I think there's so many chances here. It's always a good form horses race. The last 13 winners have all finished in the first 4 at their last start, and 11 out of 13 finished in the first 5 at that second and third last start. So you're wanting horses that are racing well and in form, but this is a wide open event. I'm gutted that Swift Falcon's not in the race yet. Hopefully, I'm hoping there's a couple of scratchings, because I think he's got that perfect profile around the best sectionals when third in the Randwick Guineas. It was a huge run when third in the Rosehill Guineas after back and wide, totally against the bars. He's been beaten sort of under a length against those top quality 3-year-olds in all 3 runs. He's got that really good profile of actually dropping back from 2,000 metres. I've got Swift Falcon on top. And I really hope he gets a run. I think if he does, he's really hard to beat. The 3-year-olds have a great record. Linebacker led all the way to win the Randwick Guineas, gets a featherweight, comes up that 28-day break, same as Celestial Legend last year. And I think he's, the 3-year-olds have won 4 of the last 13 Doncasters. So I'm keen on the 3-year-olds with Falcon linebacker, respecting the likes of Royal Patronage and Gringotts and another Will, but I'm keen on the 3-year-olds this year.
All right, then. Let's hope Swift Falcon gets in, but I reckon it's probably unlikely than likely at the moment, but a lot can happen in 24 hours. Then we have a look at the derbies that are racing too. I don't think it was an overly strong New Zealand derby, even though that Willie Dewitt smashed them. He's at $3.80 with Bet365. Aliana's at $3 and Shamwar's at $10. Gold Rush Guru at $12. Plymouth at $12. And then King of Thunder at 13. Dylan Dash, I don't think he's got a start yet, but he was unlucky there in the Talc. He's at $26. Your thoughts here, mate?
Yeah, 11 of the last 13 winners have drawn a single-digit barrier. It can be tough for the 3-year-olds to be wide in this sort of race, and 11 of the 13 finished first or second at their last start. I do have Aliana clearly on top. She's absolutely flying this prep. Beaten the nose by broadsiding in the Guineas, was very, very unlucky. And her closing sectionals are very impressive. So I do have Aliana clearly on top. Respecting Willie Dewitt, I don't think it was a really strong derby, but he put them away very impressively. And he's a nice type. And the Tulloch has produced a fair few winners of this race in recent years. And it's a bit tougher, I think, coming off a 4-day break rather than a 7-day break. But there has been 5 winners in the last 13 years from this race, and I thought, Firm Agreement and King of Thunder both ran really well, particularly like Firm Agreement, the way it sort of profiled, and I think just had a real quiet run up the back and flew home. So looks like a race in sort of 3 to me. Aliana, definitely the one to beat, but respecting Willie Dewitt and Firm Agreement in particular.
All right then, mate. What a great day of racing. What's your very best on this card?
I'm keenest and most on I think Woden in the size produce and Jolie Star and the TJ Smith. I think they're 2 really, really great bets on what's a fantastic day of racing.
A lot of great feedback for Winning Edge Investments. Obviously, we've got a few of our listeners that have taken up that offer, mate, to get a lifetime 50% off their membership with Winning Edge Investments if you type in SEN, which is the best value that you can find all weekend, and it's pretty easy to do. Just head to the website, Dino.
Yeah. Well, it's great hearing from your listeners, and we've had plenty of success so far, and there's still 3 weeks for the championships to go, so we're looking forward to it.
Yep, thanks for that, mate. We appreciate your time and catch up with you next Friday.
Thanks, Gareth. Cheers, mate.
There's Dean Evans, winningedgeinvestments.com, tips, ratings and betting education for racing and sports. We'll take a break. On the other side of it, Metro Bag of Tips and Bag of Tips as well for the Friday meetings across the 3 codes.
At Winning Edge Investments, our team of highly skilled expert analysts and full-time professional punters review the data, crunch the figures, assess the best betting opportunities, and deliver them to your phone via our app and your email inbox in real time so you profit. Go to www.winningedgeinvestments.com. Look at our membership options, make your choice, and enter the promo code PODCAST to receive a special 25% discount on your first membership just for listening. That's PODCAST in capital letters for a 25% ongoing discount on your first membership. Treat your betting like a business and invest intelligently with Winning Edge Investments.